Warning, we are a vulgarity-filled, sometimes offensive spoilers-based podcast. And while we make no apologies for the chaotic mess which we call a podcast, much like that drunken uncle at your family reunion, we will have deep-seated regrets in the morning. Thank you for taking the time to listen to us, and remember, you have been warned. Hello, and welcome once again to Cinematic Anarchy, the inaugural episode of Season 4. And with me today, we have Miss B.
Yo!
And, surprisingly, sitting in the background, we have Fredo. Maybe.
And reluctantly. Surprisingly and reluctantly.
Surprisingly and reluctantly.
It's so funny.
Well, I mean, this was the movie you picked out, right?
Again. It was a snowball effect. He brought it up, and then I just kind of ran with it in a dramatic state.
So, you dragged him kicking and screaming into this, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, but he's the one that brought it up. He can't fucking make suggestions and not expect me to, hey, be a part of this!
Alright, so, today, we're going to be sitting down and, I guess, discussing a movie that Fredo was dragged kicking and screaming into discussing with us.
He brought it up. I actually haven't even seen it, to be honest. I was playing Batman when he was playing.
Oh, okay. Well, then, I'm sorry.
That Batman movie.
The Batman?
Did you see the Batman movie?
I just watched it last night.
Oh, man. It's really good.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's one of my favorites.
I'm going to put it right up there. I'm going to put it right up there just behind The Dark Knight. Just behind. But, far and above any of the other ones. So, I would say
that definitely has to be another one, because the potential for that it's limitless. It's crazy.
Well, I
really like the tone, the pace of the movie.
I think they have the intent of making two more, but, I'm hoping they take just as much care with it as they did this one. I really do.
Yeah, I'm not rushing to anything.
I mean, it was a near to 3-hour film, and it didn't feel like it. It flew fucking by. It really did.
Yeah.
That being said, tonight's movie is not The Batman at all.
No, that's right.
We are discussing a... Oh, God. We are discussing a 1993 film starring Elijah Wood and Macaulay Culkin called The Good Son.
The Good Son.
Good Son, bad movie. Really bad movie.
It's so fucking bad.
I remember...
The dialogue is shit. The only person that actually shows any emotion in the entire movie is fucking Elijah Wood.
I remember really liking it when I was younger. I really do. Yeah. I remember liking the film, but I was probably, 9-10 years old at the time that this came out, so, yeah.
Not a whole lot to, compare it to as far as, good acting to a 10-year-old.
Forgive me for forgetting my age. I've gotten so old that I forgot how old I am, apparently. I was, 13 when this came out, not 9-10 years old.
Okay.
That being said, obviously there's a pretty stark contrast between, what he did in this role and the shit movie that he did beforehand that every kid fucking remembers, Home Alone.
Mm-hmm.
That was a horrible movie. That really was.
It was awful. It's always been awful.
This was better than that other bad movie. It really was.
Yeah.
So.
But not really.
IMDb description right off the bat. Mark, played by Elijah Wood, a young boy who loses his mother, must stay with his extended family while his father is on his way on business in Tokyo. Mark becomes acquainted with his cousin, Macaulay Culkin. However, the extent of Henry's depravity becomes clear when Mark sees him kill a neighbor's dog and intentionally create a traffic pileup on the highway. After a supposed mishap on an icy pond with Henry's sister, Connie, Mark tries to reveal Henry's crimes before it's too late. So, that's the basic description of the film. Overall, Rotten Tomatoes gave this a 26% out of 100.
Yeah, I can see why. It's fucking so bad. The dialogue is shit. Fucking, there were mad people standing around when the dog was shot with a bolt.
Right. Well, they were off in the woods being little degenerates, but yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no, but like they fucking like went to go pick up the dog, and obviously they threw him in a sack, and then dropped him in a well.
They went out and almost shot the dog the first time around. Why?
No, it was the cat.
Was it a cat the first time around?
It was a cat the first time.
Yeah, that's what Macaulay said. His makeshift crossbow, that it works, but the sight is off. Because Elijah had told him,
don't hit the cat.
Don't hit the cat. And he's like, sure, buddy, or whatever he said. And he went to go shoot and he missed. And he said, oh, it works good. The sight is off, though. Intending that he was trying to shoot the cat.
Exactly.
Well, I'm blind.
My problem with the whole scene was the fact that Mark did nothing when the kid picked up the crossbow again and was obviously aiming for the dog. Already having seen what that bolt could do the first time. At that point, Mark's just as guilty as...
He didn't do anything because, he's a fucking naive kid.
A little naive. He plays...
And fucking Henry had said that, I'm just gonna scare him.
He plays the exact same character in every movie. Like, even back then, he was the exact same character that he's played in most recent movies. This little mousy kind of whiny character.
Yeah. Wait, which one are we talking about?
Elijah Wood.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
How many movies have we watched with him in it that he was the same, even with Come to Daddy, he was... It's a horrible name for a movie, but he was the same character.
Really weird name.
I feel like Macaulay Culkin fucked him up when he was a kid, and now the older movie, it's the same Mark. It's the same kid from the first movie. He's just grown up now.
Probably.
So.
Anyway.
Yes, anyway. So the whole movie starts... The whole movie starts in a soccer field. There's that long shot of Elijah Wood looking across the way to his dad looking across the way to him. At this point, you know something's wrong. The next scene is basically them in the hospital with the mom who's terminally ill.
And Fredo's over here fucking giggling about it.
That was the funniest fucking thing, though. I mean, that's probably...
I'm not gonna let you die! The next scene, she's fucking dead.
They're standing at the funeral the next time around. Just, I'm never gonna let you die, Mom. You're gonna live forever. And now you're at the funeral. Just unintentional laughter there. Like, I don't think they meant it as comedy. I think they meant it as tragic, but it definitely came off more comedic than anything else. Dad, obviously, the job is more important than his son at this point. Like, his wife just passed away, and his son is obviously traumatized. So, what's the next best thing to do? You gotta go to Tokyo. I'm sorry, you have... No, I'd tell my boss to fucking fuck off. No, my wife just passed away. I'm not leaving my kids with relatives. He needs his father.
Yeah. Why didn't he take his kid with him?
That's a good point. Why wouldn't you just take your traumatized son to Tokyo with you? I don't know if the kid knew Japanese.
That's okay. He can learn. He's young and impressionable.
I love the little heart-to-heart that they have in the car on the way up. Like, they're obviously... What? Where were they coming from? Like, Texas or Arizona? It was the middle of the desert. I know that much.
I don't fucking know. I remember the scene, though.
His father tries to have a heart-to-heart with him. And then he just gets out of the car and books it into the desert. Next thing you know, they're in Maine in the snow.
Yeah, right?
Immediately, this movie has some serious transition issues. You're never gonna die, you're dead. Running in the desert, now you're in the snow.
It's very confusing.
Wardrobe also doesn't understand children that grew up in desert environments. If you grow up in a desert, a hot environment all your life, and then you're immediately transported to Maine where it is snowing, and it is in the middle of the winter, why would you just give the fucking kid a light jacket?
I don't know. I couldn't explain it to you.
He should be dressed like a Inuit, like in a parka, just big fur, hood, everything. Just
I don't know, man. The producers didn't do research.
No. That's Wardrobe's fault, though.
True.
I mean, you gotta do...
I don't know. I couldn't explain it.
It's also a movie with Macaulay Culkin in it, so as much reality as you need to have.
There's, like, plot holes throughout the entire fucking thing. And fucking, like, the voiceovers are what really fucking got me.
How so?
Like, when the dog's chasing after them and fucking, like, he's barking. He's not moving his mouth.
When he's barking...
When the kids are dangling over the side of the cliff, they're not actually talking, but they've got the voiceover going.
The dubbing. The dubbing. Yes. Bad dubbing.
So bad.
Well, the entire film in general was just painfully bad. And it revolved around 2 child actors. So the main actors in the movie were actors that were just starting out. Kids.
And I'm sorry, I hated Henry's little sister. Fucking dead face.
Connie?
The
The Culkin sister?
Yeah.
So that's Macaulay Culkin's biological sister. That's the only reason she made it into the movie.
It is not a good kid actor.
How many movies?
Zero expression. She's just like, oh my god.
How many movies have you seen her in since?
I don't fucking know. I didn't know he had a sister.
Well, no. I mean, honestly, they have... I love how if you go into the main page for Quinn Culkin, that's what her name is. The picture that they immediately bring up is not her, but they bring up a picture of Elijah Wood. So a young Elijah Wood. That's the picture that they bring up for Quinn Culkin.
What the fuck?
Yeah, Quinn was in only 3 movies before she ended her career. It was the original Home Alone, Wish Kid, and The Good Son. And after The Good Son, she was done. I'm guessing probably not liking the scene of having to be under the icy water. You know, we're going to half drown you.
Yeah, I'm seeing it.
Yeah. So she's done literally nothing with her career at all.
Oh, he's a kid. It's not cut out for some kids just aren't actors.
I mean, that's very true. Some kids are not actors. And that's perfectly fine. I'm good with that. She did not do a good job. But then again, you know, Elijah Wood and... sorry, not Rory, but Macaulay barely did a good job in this as well.
Yeah, no, it was just bad all the way fucking through.
It was very bad, very bad. We're just going to keep saying that over and over and over again. I'm trying to describe the movie. I'm trying to run through it and just... It's already kind of a creepy movie. You can see, like, the movie The Boy kind of got an element from it. From the initial scene where he's hanging upside down with the papier-mâché mask on when Mark first comes into the house. I think Macaulay Culkin did all right being a creepy kind of sociopathic kid. The problem I think I have is that they didn't just let him be a sociopathic kid. They had to give him fucking punchy one-liners.
It was so...
Hey,
so corny. I keep saying it was really bad because it was.
Hey, Mark, if I let you go, do you think you could fly? You know.
And then, like 2 seconds later, they're up on their little like tree house thingy, giggling and shit. It's
giggling and tickling each other.
This is a very confusing friendship over here.
I think that they wanted, or Mark wanted to have somebody to spend time with, and I think Henry genuinely wanted somebody to connect with him on sort of a sociopathic level. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's trying to convince Mark that, oh, you know, you're part of this too now, because they dropped the dummy on the fucking highway.
So, you know that actually prompted somebody, another kid, took and did something similar on Halloween, I think that year, and dropped a dummy over the overpass, and a pregnant woman, actually got into a car accident, basically veering off the road to avoid what she thought was a human that had dropped from the overpass.
Fuck.
And that actually prompted them to go around, and over the next few years, they put up higher fences over the highway and major roadway overpasses.
That's fucked up. But, I mean...
It's also the reason that scene was not left in when they distributed it in the UK, because the UK was also worried that some delinquent kid was going to... Yeah, monkey see, monkey do. So, obviously, kids being who kids are, delinquent behavior... there's a lot to unpack, but not a lot to talk about, because the movie it dragged. It was kind of boring.
Kind of?
It was painfully boring, not just kind of.
Thank God it was only 86 minutes.
I feel like Fredo watched this film. He doesn't have a lot of input to really put in, does he?
Yeah.
No?
I mean, I watched it as a kid, so I have a different impression of it. I can't believe you guys would shit on America's Sweetheart Macaulay Culkin, but yeah, that's up to you guys. Very polarizing figures.
I don't know.
It wasn't good.
When I was a kid, the way Macaulay Culkin would deliver these lines that are corny, but he does it in a cold way that, I don't know, can you get another kid to do it like that? Like, who else what other child actor do you think could deliver something cold and...
I mean, there's a ton of child actors right now that are in, like, scary movies and shit.
I mean,
now, yeah.
There were a ton of actors back then that were delivering pretty cold lines. You had child actors in horror movies all the time. Right.
The little girl from Poltergeist.
Damien from The Omen?
No, she doesn't.
She's
pretty fucking scary.
The kid that played Damien from The Omen? You know?
What?
Damien from The Omen?
Which Omen? I think that just seems like one from like 2000.
There was actually several different Omen movies, starting back in the 1970s, so... Different incarnations, you know. I actually have the entire box set over here. 2000, though, I mean, you could have used any of them, really. There were plenty of kids in the 80s, the 90s, that could have delivered pretty cold lines. I guess Macaulay Culkin, the reason they used him was because of the fact that it was a stark contrast from his other film. Like, his most popular film at the time was, you know, it was Home Alone, and so what they wanted to do is do what I'm fond of, is take somebody and cast them completely against type.
Yeah.
So, America's sweetheart to America's childhood sociopath. But why do you feel he's America's sweetheart, or were you just joking there?
Yeah.
Was that a joke?
A lot of what I say is just a joke.
Okay. Good, because I'm going to have... Macaulay Culkin, of all things. He had that one movie. You know who could have done it? Who was a child actor back in the 90s?
And Home Alone, you guys talking shit about that, too? I mean, how old were you when you watched Home Alone?
I watched Home Alone growing up as a kid. I think back as a kid, I was all right with it. But I can't watch it as an adult. It's just horrible.
You're watching it. You say kid, but are you talking like 17?
This was like 2 years. This was 2 years before Good Son, so that I would have been like 11. It's been around for a while. It's been around for a while. But you know who could have done that? A very good sociopathic child actor. Edward Furlong was a kid back then.
Edward Furlong?
Edward Furlong, the kid from Terminator 2.
Oh!
He did a couple of movies, but that was what he was known mostly for. Back then,
Tobey Maguire.
Tobey Maguire? Was he a kid back then? A little kid?
No, I'm not sure.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. What about Leonardo DiCaprio? He already kind of played he wasn't really good on Growing Pains. He kind of played sort of a disgruntled foster child on Growing Pains when he was a kid. He'd had that early role as Artie, was it Artie or Arnie in What's Eating Gilbert Grape? So
yeah, that's great.
Back then, before he became a serious actor, I think he could have pulled off the sociopathic kid thing pretty decently. Do you think Jonathan Lipnicki could have done that?
I don't know who that is.
Stuart Little?
Oh.
He would have been a lot younger, though. I mean, I don't think he would have been born back
then.
I
don't think. I could do words.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Fucking the kid from Sixth Sense.
Haley Joel Osment.
Haley Joel Osment.
I don't know. He might have been a little too old for that back then, too. Because we're talking, like, early 90s. Like, 92, 93? We're looking for?
1990.
You know who was just young enough back then, though? Fred Savage. Fred Savage, Boy Meets World? Not Boy Meets World. That's the other Savage brother. Shit. Fred Savage's Wonder Years. Oh, God. What is the other Savage brother's name?
I'm looking at him. Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about.
Oh, damn. I did not prepare myself for that. Ben Savage.
He's the kid from Little Monsters.
Ben Savage. Fred Savage was in Little Monsters, yes. Ben Savage was the one from Boy Meets World. But
anyway,
Fred Savage, as far as I'm concerned, was always sort of a one-trick pony. He didn't put a lot of emotion into his roles. So even in Wonder Years, he was just kind of a naive kid. Even when he did the mole, played the mole in Austin Powers, it was just the same kind of character. But Ben Savage, on the other hand, had a bit more range than Fred did. So I think that he could have pulled off the sociopathic kid thing, you know, if he had a chance to do something before dropping off the face of the earth. Point being is that there were plenty of kids back there that probably could have pulled it off a little bit better than he could have.
Probably.
Anyway,
back to the movie.
Back to the movie. Where were we? We killed the dog, I know that. And we dropped somebody off the overpass. Skeleton Man.
Overpass.
Skeleton Man.
That really weird fucking game of hide and seek.
That was... How far into the game was that? Oh.
Why was he sitting on top of her?
So, the game of hide and seek was questionable. So, there's already kind of issues between the kids, and Mark is having issues, and Henry's having issues, and somehow Auntie and Uncle here decide, you know what would be a great idea for a traumatized child? Let's leave him home. Let's leave them home without any parental supervision.
Yeah, where were they during that scene?
Where were they? I think they went out to some kind of work event for the father, if I'm not mistaken. It was like I don't want to say a ball or something. It was something that it was a work-related thing he couldn't get out of. And so it's like, okay, well, it's fine. We should be able to leave them home alone. And
I mean, then people were totally cool with their leaving their kids home alone.
Home alone. Anyway.
Home alone.
I think it was just questionable at that point. I think there's, I don't know, there was a lot going on.
Aren't they out in, like, the middle of nowhere? Aren't they out in, like, the middle of fucking nowhere?
Yeah, they are. They're off of a lake out in the middle of nowhere. Basically, they have a house on a cliff, from what I saw. Or just next to a cliff, anyway, because that's where Mom is so fond. I'm trying to figure out where this place was. Because you have Elijah Wood standing on a mountain, and you got this woman standing on a cliff overlooking the sea. I mean, I guess that could be Maine. I guess.
I mean, if that's what we're calling it, okay, fine. I just want to know where.
You know, I long for the days where I could let my child climb a mountain by himself just so he could have a little bit of peace of mind. You know?
Right?
I don't understand. This kid seems like he could get lost in his own backyard, but whatever, you know. He's a little naive. He's one of the kids that would get stolen by the white panel van. He's a little naive. Like, he went through a lot before he finally started calling Henry out on his shit. Like, a lot. Not for nothing, but the fact that Mark figured out that Henry killed his brother long before Mom figured it out, that's a little fucked up. Like, this is your kid. You didn't have any idea that maybe he might have... I guess he's sweet and manipulative, and he kind of has a way about him. But, like, he does things blatantly and in public. Like you said, he shot the dog with plenty of onlookers that did nothing.
Yeah, right?
So, the fact...
The dog wasn't quiet about it.
No. No, the dog was actually rather loud. Not...
Like, he does shit all the time with fucking witnesses and shit everywhere, and, like, he didn't give a fuck.
Were parents more relaxed back then, or...
You realize you could do anything.
What?
What? Okay.
I don't understand your logic. All right, we're going to go ahead and take a very quick break, let the sponsors speak for themselves, and we will be right back. Now that we're back from our sponsors, we're going to try to tackle the other half of this boring-ass fucking movie.
So bad.
So we're at the point where Auntie and Uncle have decided in their infinite wisdom to leave the sociopath, his sister, and the mentally deranged or disturbed child home. So, and you can just choose who is who there. And immediately after the parents drive away, Macaulay Culkin goes into the basement and throws the fucking breaker and decides, let's play hide and murder in the dark. Or at least that's what's going on in Mark's head. He thinks that he's going to basically injure his own sister.
Yeah.
Which isn't too far off from his intent. But he's doing it at this point to get a rise out of Mark. It's not so much, I'm going to hurt my sister because I want to hurt my sister. I'm going to hurt my sister because you don't want me to hurt my sister.
Yeah, it's a psychological game.
Yes.
What do you think this is, Mark? A game? I mean, it's hide and seek, bro.
That's what it's supposed to fucking be anyway. And so he basically, they run through the house. Mark's trying to find the sister, and Henry's trying to find his sister, and we finally find Mark coming across Henry mounting his sister. Which is, I don't know how to feel about that at all.
I don't know either. It's very weird.
Basically pinned the sister, has her on the floor, and this is where Mark decides. This is where Mark decides, in his infinite wisdom, this is how you know he's a child. Basically, go ahead and ask my mom. Accidents will happen. Ask her about Richard. So this is where Henry decides to let loose. Yeah, basically, I did this to my brother too. I'm the one that did that. The next day, Mark is just sitting, just eyeing Connie from afar, sitting on the bench, just kind of keeping an eye on her. And this is when the therapist comes in again. The worst therapist in the world, by the way. Like, absolutely fucking worst. But
no, you're right. It's the fucking worst therapist ever.
Okay. Just, what if somebody is just evil? I don't believe in evil. You don't believe... You're a therapist? You don't believe in evil? You're obviously not helping take care of anybody with any real issues then. Because there are some people that are just pure fucking evil. There really are. This is also shortly thereafter where Henry intercepts the call from Mark's father. Basically, yeah, no, he's fine. Everything's fine. He's not here right now. Blah, 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 blah. And now, I'm sorry, I've backtracked a little bit. This is now where they leave them alone at home again. My apologies. I went the wrong way. I was looking at Mark. My apologies. I think I may have gone. My notes are all fucked up. I'm going over my notes, and I think I backed up a little bit, and I put some things where they shouldn't have been. So I backed up. I saw the thing where Mark assaults his sister, which yeah, that doesn't belong there. I think I had I think that was Henry had assaulted his own sister beforehand, and now we're back. I'm back at the night where they left them alone. They had a big argument about Richard at the table, and then after the argument about Richard, they decided to leave the kids alone at home. So we're just going to skip over all that fucking shit.
And there was that whole scene at the skating rink.
That was directly afterwards, wasn't it? Like he went to go and talk to them, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And he passed out. I think this is actually another night where they were home alone, if I'm not mistaken, because he passed out watching Connie for the rest of the night. I think that was after he pinned.
No, they weren't home alone that night, but they he ended up falling asleep on Connie's floor.
And he woke up the next morning, and Connie was already gone with Mark. I mean, with Henry. Sorry, to Miller's Pond.
To go ice skating, and then he flung her onto the thin ice.
So he decided to ramp up the initial assault, and instead, we're going to go around and around at high speed. Like last night. You didn't think, after he pinned you down on the floor and almost assaulted you, that This...
Well, no, he was tickling her, so she was fucking, like, whatever. But,
Right.
that whole time, like, he's spinning her around at high speed, she's giggling and shit, and fucking, like, it's got the really shitty voiceover thing again.
Right.
And, like, her face, dead, just not moving her mouth, nothing, but, like, you know, you can hear the, oh my god!
I mean, I can laugh without moving my mouth.
That's very uncomfortable.
That's not how kids laugh.
No, it's not!
It's not. They laugh out loud, mouths wagging open, for all the germs to hit them straight in the face. And, of course, another hospital scene, because Mark seems to be so fond of hospitals. It's a little... I don't know. I don't know.
And then Mark tries telling Susan, the mother.
I think he tries to tell Susan, the mother, and then he tries to go to the therapist, and the therapist is not listening. Because Henry's already beat him to the punch. Henry's already at the therapist's office.
No, the therapist was at their house, wasn't she?
No, this was... So, Mark tells his aunt about Henry throwing her on the ice, and she ends up smacking him for it. That's where she ends, because, you know, this is my son,
yeah.
You know, don't talk about him like that. And then they end up going to the hospital to go check and everything. Mark tells his father everything on the phone. So he gets his father on the phone finally and starts telling him everything, and he's like, go tell the doctor. Go tell your therapist everything that's happening, because if the aunt and the uncle aren't listening, then tell the therapist and she'll help out. But Henry already beat him to the therapist and was telling the therapist everything from his manipulative point of view.
Okay.
So now he's decided, at this point, he's decided that he's going to kind of go nose to nose with a sociopath. Because what does he say? What did he end up saying to Henry? She's my mother now.
Oh, yeah.
Because he basically feels as though there was some weird kind of reincarnated spirit of my mother is in your mother kind of thing, which is... You saw that whole dream sequence earlier on in the movie where it was kind of, he thought that was his mother.
Yeah, and then it's Susan.
Yes, it's the aunt, not his mother, but he still is like, no, this is my mom. She's my mom now. So, mental illness, I think, might run in the family a little bit, but...
You think?
Just a little. Shortly thereafter, he tells Mark not to fuck with him. And now we're standing...
Don't fuck with me. It's so, like, not intimidating.
Well, I mean, it's from Macaulay Culkin, like, the most innocent fucking kid. Even playing sociopath, I'm sorry, his sociopath here is not that far off from what he did in Home Alone. It's just more dramatic music in a more somber setting.
Pretty much.
It's still Christmas, there's still fucking snow outside. They could have filmed it at the same time, just one state over. You know? Right after Don't Fuck With Me, we have the panic scene. We have the Henry pretends he did something to the food.
Yeah.
Yes. And so now Mark, Henry's the best at mind games here. He's a manipulative little mind fuck of a kid. And this is the only scene that I think that I really...
I think I would put something in my own family's food, and then Mark freaks out and starts shoving everything down the garbage disposal.
This is the only scene where I felt genuine emotion from Elijah Wood's character. Like, him freaking out and stuffing all the food, that whole scene right there was probably the best acting Elijah Wood did in the entire movie. The rest of it was just deadpan.
All of them were.
It's, I think the mom starts seeing what's going on a little bit right here, because as she's trying to handle the Mark situation, she realizes that Henry is standing in the shadows at the end of the hallway just kind of watching.
Yeah. And then she finds the rubber duck in his little treehouse shed thing.
Right. I mean, she goes out there and she's, what did she move? The duck was behind. Was it the mask or something? There was something just hanging in the shed that she moved, and the duck fell out from behind.
I know what it is. It's slipping my mind.
And this is where she finds out what's going on with Henry's head. Just a little bit. Because she confronts him, and he's like, I want the duck back. Give me the duck. It's my fucking duck. Give it back to me. So, it seems like Henry drowned his brother over a rubber duck. this is my duck, and you can't have it, so die. Because he has a thing with splitting his mother's attention. He doesn't like it. So anybody that has her attention, obviously...
Yeah.
And Connie's a daddy's girl, so it wasn't as big a problem.
Yeah. I don't know. It could be the whole fucking, like, oh, I just don't want another brother. You know, you already have one son.
Right. It's typical kind of, look at me, sociopathic behavior is what it is.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what. Maybe that's not sociopathic. I'm thinking about something else. What is that behavior? The one he'll kill even if whatever it means to be the center of attention. Like, you don't get my mother's attention. That's mine. Or this is my. He has this kind of possessive personality. Like, this is my mom, and you can't have her. I'll kill you. This is my duck. You can't have my duck. I'll kill you.
If I can't have it, nobody can.
My sister likes you more than me. I'll kill you. Nobody. He has.
No, I'll kill her.
I'll kill. Well, he's gonna kill her before he allows. Nobody else can have you. I'll kill you first.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of his mentality. It goes immediately to murder. And he does it very casually. So there's a lot of weird stuff going on at this point. Mark is now confronting the father who now locks him in the study. You go, yes, hello, hi.
Yeah. Fucking, sorry, I blanked out for a second there.
Yes, I was wondering where you went. You were just kind of off there.
I was staring at the lizard.
You're staring at the lizard?
I was staring at the lizard and my mind just fucking wiped.
You pointed this way, you were staring that way. I saw where you were looking.
Yeah, right?
Unless you consider Fredo the lizard, you were looking at Fredo just a minute ago.
Oh yeah, no, I looked at Fredo because he was making a face.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
you're supposed to talk, Fredo. Come talk with us.
What's up? How's it going?
He doesn't know.
How you doing?
No, I like I said, I really blanked out throughout the whole movie. It was such a piece of shit. So
It was a well-earned 26%. It was.
Yeah.
I think, in the area of 1993
who
movies...
If you were in the mom's position, who would you let go of?
If I was in the mom's position?
Yeah.
This kid tried to throw me off a cliff. He was going to push me off the cliff. If I was in the mom's position, sorry, that wouldn't even been a debate. I'm sorry, kiddo. This one didn't try to kill me. Boo!
I mean,
with the knowledge...
having the kid that needed more help.
With the knowledge that this kid also killed my son, injured my daughter, and almost killed her, and then, on top of that, tried to kill me, there's no debate there. I guess I get there's a biological connection which kind of let her hang on a little bit longer than she should have. But the fact that she didn't...
That's Elijah's ending statement. Like, he never wants to ask her if she ever regrets picking him over her son.
Yeah. Yeah, well,
that's what he... Isn't that how the movie ended?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're in there that...
The movie ended...
Did say, before she got pushed off the cliff that fucking, we can try and get you help and whatever, Like, she was willing to get him help.
Yeah.
So she wasn't just gonna be like, oh, fuck you killed my baby.
Well, and then Macaulay basically pushed his mother off a cliff and was about 2 seconds from smashing her face with a rock.
That whole scene pissed me off, honestly, just because fucking, you could see the wires that she's fucking hanging from.
It's 1993.
The cliff is, maybe 7-8 feet tall.
Right.
When, it's overhead, the waves are, right underneath. But then, fucking, when it pans out, it's this huge-ass fucking cliff.
Yeah, it looks a lot higher up than it actually is. Even with...
Yeah.
It was very choice cinematography right there. Definitely, they had the right angles to make it look a bit bigger than it was.
You can, when she's, falling down the cliff, you can see the wire in her sleeve that she's holding on to. And then she's, casually just, oh, shit, that's right, I'm supposed to be holding on to a rock.
Right. Don't forget to hold on. It was actually the whole end fight in general, like between Macaulay Culkin and Elijah Wood, them just rolling around like that was just hilarious. The second unintentionally hilarious part of the movie. It was hilarious.
It was. Fucking Fredo laughs every single time the mother drops Harry.
Oh, it was funny.
Right? Like, I was genuinely surprised.
A bloodied up child's corpse on top of a rock. It was washing away. It was an interesting way to end that scene.
Genuinely surprised that she held on as long as she did. Like, I'm wondering if Mark was just like, hold on a minute. You know that he killed your son. You know that he almost killed your daughter. He tried to kill you, and you're debating whether or not you want to let him go or me?
Well, I mean, that's still her kid.
I understand that, but I'm just saying from his perspective. From his perspective, I don't ever want to ask, do you regret dropping him over me? I want to ask, why the fuck did you wait so long to drop him? Like, were you seriously thinking to myself, if I can save both of these little bastards, I will?
She was telling them to pull themselves up.
And Macaulay Culkin, Henry, he was deliberately not putting any effort in hoping that she'd drop him.
Yeah. He actually suggested, let go, I need your other hand. Let go of that piece of shit, Elijah Woods, and use both hands to carry me.
Yeah.
Exactly. So right away.
They're fucking pleading and begging her to fucking pull them up, and their mouths aren't fucking moving. It's that whole shitty voiceover bullshit.
Yep. And it was...
I give this fucking film a 2.
2? That's generous.
Yeah.
That's generous.
It is.
I mean, that's about where everybody else was going with IMDb as well. Is it we going 2 out of 100?
Yeah.
2 out of 100.
Let's go with that.
I mean, this is not something I'd want to watch again. I told you what happened to me today. I put it on, and I was like, I'm going to watch this again so I can refresh my memory. And then I put it on, and I got maybe 15 minutes into the movie, and I'm like, I can't do this again. Why did I buy this again? Oh, that's right, because it was $3, and it costs less than the rental fee. So I was like, it costs less than the rental fee. I'll buy it at the store. And now I know why it was only $3 at the store. And you can't find it on Blu-ray anywhere. At all.
Oh my God.
I'm not sure that they would have cleared much up. It was, it was painfully boring. I don't have anything else to say about this film. I really don't.
I don't either.
I think that you could have taken almost any... There were a handful of really good child actors back in the 90s that... You could have taken them. You could have built better chemistry with any 3 child actors than you got here. Much better. So, maybe. Yeah?
Yeah.
You good?
Fredo's showing me a message from his little group chat. They're wanting to land Warzone.
Well, that's not true.
Oh, okay. So, Fredo's... I'm going to say, Fredo's over here just... He's distracting you a little bit, and I'm...
Yep. It's your fault.
It's okay. It's okay.
Anyway.
This
was a difficult fucking episode to do. Fucking...
I'm tripping over the
movie.
I'm just tripping over the out of this.
I got some input in there.
I wish you did too. I put it on twice.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
It was pretty bad.
In my defense, I did not say, hey, let's watch this movie, it's great. Again, if in my defense, I'm not being attacked or anything, but in my defense, and I know you guys aren't attacking me, but in my defense, you said you were just there on a drunken tirade about, I don't know, bad sons, and then I suggested this movie off the cuff from a movie I watched, like, I don't know.
We were watching We Need to Talk About Kevin.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, you know who's a piece of shit son? Macaulay Culkin. And you're like, we're gonna do
this episode, and you're gonna be a part of it.
Okay.
You led me to believe when you first told me about this was his idea.
He brought it
up. You told me this was his idea.
It was. He brought it up.
See,
But
you see how she chooses the words carefully?
But no.
Things like, who brought it up? But she's neglecting the fact that everything I said is true. Yes, I did bring it up, but in a very off-the-cuff way of saying, have you watched that piece of shit, The Bad Son? It was not like I was like, yo, this movie is great.
No.
I don't even remember it. The only input I had from the movie today is from when I watched it over 10 years ago when I was a kid. When I was like, oh, that character's cool. I want to be with that guy. Look at the Colin Culkin. He built his own makeshift crossbow. He's like Bart Simpson.
You led me to believe this was him.
It was him.
I feel deceived. I feel deceived. Oh.
You've been bamboozled.
Deceiver! Deceiver. Deceiver. Okay. Three quick little trivia things before we leave. Number one, the cigarette that Mark and Henry were supposed to have smoked during the movie was actually an empty tube that was then filled with parsley and lettuce leaves. Yeah, it's a PCP cigarette. During the movie, Henry actually wears two different colored shoes. One colored black and one colored white. Which the director said he did that because it was supposed to depict good versus evil.
Huh.
Yeah. I didn't notice that either. I had to go back and look. It's like, oh, okay. He wore one white shoe and one black shoe. I didn't care because it was a shit movie.
Right.
Didn't care at all. Also, Susan, the woman that played Susan in this movie, was originally supposed to be played by Mary Steenburgen. She dropped out when the filming of the movie was delayed, but I think that she would have done a far fucking better job as the mom than the sort of lackluster performance that you got from Mommy Dearest in this movie. Mary Steenburgen was a much better actress. So,
Facts.
I'm kind of disappointed. Fredo, the guy,
What a fucking dick.
he was supposed to be the focus of the movie. This whole discussion,
Honestly.
I was waiting for him to talk and say something. Like,
Whole time.
he talked less during... Bring! I heard that.
Sorry about that. My computer's getting low.
He talked less during this episode than he does when he's interrupting us during other episodes.
Yeah, right?
So, that was fun.
He was distracted by that.
This was also the last film that he made, that Macaulay Culkin made, that didn't flop at the box office.
Huh.
He has not had a successful movie since.
I can imagine why.
I am picking up all that conversation in the background now.
God fucking damn it!
I can hear all of it. So, with that, why don't we go ahead and be a little noisy and speak over them, and we'll go ahead and sign out for the evening. Thank you for bringing this movie to my attention, which I haven't watched in probably about 15, 20 years almost. Almost 20 years. And thank you for putting me in a position where I got to watch it again and remind myself why I never want to watch it again.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Fredo brought it up.
Fredo he passively. I heard the whole conversation.
He brought it up. It's his fault. Can't bring things up to me when I'm drunk, because then I'm gonna go manic and fucking. We should do this.
And we did. We're a little late doing it, but we watched the movie, and that was like choking down bad milk.
Yeah.
Like that left a sour taste in my brain.
We done being loud?
Yeah. Yeah, just a little bit.
We good?
Just a little bit.
Okay.
So, is he back to sign
Anyway.
off? Does he want to do
Drink some fucking water, you thirsty bitches.
Oh, I was going to see if he wanted to say it. No? No?
What am I saying? Oh, we're saying bye?
We're saying bye.
Oh, bye. Bye, guys. Thanks for inviting me. This was a beautiful moment. I can't wait for the future to have more moments like this. I promise I'll watch the movie next time. It's going to be a good time. So yeah, click that like button, subscribe. Is that what you guys do?
Yeah.
Click that like button, subscribe.
Yeah. Yeah. What Fredo said. Ah.